right at 7. You guys ready? Yep. Good evening. Ferrysburg City Council meeting, call to order. Monday, April 4th, 7 p.m. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Blease.
Here.
Councilmember O'Donnell.
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Councilmember Montgomery. Councilmember Sias.
Here.
Councilmember Murdoch. Councilmember Kate.
Here. Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that we excuse Councilmember Montgomery for vacation. Support.
Motion and support. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Number 3, invocation by Councilmember Kate, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Gracious God, you are the giver of all good gifts, and one of those gifts is government. We pray for your wisdom, your discernment, and your guidance as we exercise that gift this evening. In your name we ask it. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number 5, public comments. This time on the agenda is for any citizen to direct brief comments or questions at the City Council. Time for public comments will be given when an agenda item is discussed. If you have a comment or question, please raise your hand to be recognized by the mayor. And after being recognized by the mayor, please give your name, address for the record, and proceed with your comment or question. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Any public comment? Seeing none, moving on. Number 6, consideration for approval consent agenda. A, approve the March 21st, 2022 City Council meeting minutes as printed.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that we approve the consent agenda. A, approve March 21st, 2022 City Council meeting minutes as printed.
Support.
Motion support. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unopposed? Motion carried. Number 7, new business. A, presentation, Rebecca Hopp, Smith's Bayou Historical Marker QR Code Project.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Hatt, P.O. Box 85, Ferrysburg 49409. This is a presentation I did at Grand Valley last week with the history group that I was able to present in front of. There was 6 of us on the panel discussion. And also for the new council members to understand how we got to where we are today with this historical marker and the legacy that has been left behind. So it all started back. Hezekiah and his wife, Lucinda, moved up to this area around 1842. Based on census, it's really hard to get an exact date on his arrival. Over the years that he was over on Smith's Bayou, he did purchase over 500 acres, and the acreage went all the way up to close to Taft. My husband and I were able to create the map, and then the Ottawa County GIS did an overlay. So it's just amazing to see what that 500 acres plus looked like. He was very successful as a peach and apple growing orchard, and then in 1866, the State Horticulture Society recognized him as a successful farmer because of his successful peaches and apples that he had grown. He established himself also as a strong civic leader. He was the president of the Colored People's Convention, delegate in 1860, in 1894 for the equal rights, and then in 1884, Lucinda has passed away, and she is buried at the Spring Lake Cemetery. That's there, Spring Lake Township, and she is listed as a white woman. Is when you go back and you start looking through all the documentations and things like that, it's just amazing that people took it upon themselves to change people's ethnic races. In 1894, he married Ellen Hicks Bennett, and there's also many Bennetts that are buried in the Grand Haven Cemetery. So we haven't found out the connection, but there may be some type of millennial connection with those. He married Sarah in 1894. He passed away in 1896, and then Sarah Smith moved to Grand Rapids. And at that time, with a popular last name, we're not able to find out any more about where Sarah is at this time. Let me back up. I forgot to mention, in February of 2020 is when I began this project, and I did present it before the Beautification Commission for their approval for me to move forward with this research and the application. They did approve the application fees for this, so I did have the city on board from the very beginning. During the research, I collaborated with Kate Crosby with Tri-City Historical Museum, Jeanette and John both at the library, and then also I had the privilege of working with Annalisa Cox, PhD, through the Harvard Hutchins Center. Wonderful woman. She has written multiple articles, and her last article that she wrote is a small magazine-type pamphlet that's entitled Michigan African American Pioneers. And Hezekiah Smith is listed in there, along with many other African Americans. However, there are no photos. We can't find any photos of Hezekiah, even with all of his different civic involvement that he did in that. There's nothing available. September of 2021, I applied for the Drake Middleton Heritage Fund grant, and I was granted that, which paid the full cost for the historical marker, which came in right around $3,700. And then also received the, I wrote and then talked with and received the Grand Haven Community Foundation for site improvement, and that was later this past fall. August 13, 2020 was the date when I started to do the application. They asked for a date for a dedication, where it's going to be, and the date, and I had put August 13th. So now we're like 18 months out, thinking that we're going to have it in plenty of time. The historical marker arrived a week, Monday, Friday, about a week for this dedication date, because there's so many different groups that you have to go through to make sure that the verbiage is all correct and spelling is all correct. So we were able to get it dedicated on August 13, and that date is important because that was when Hezekiah purchased his first properties along west side, northwest side of Smith's Bayou. In fact, our property is in that first parcel that he had purchased, so that's pretty unique. Kind of a cool connection. Smith's Bayou and Smith's Bridge eventually have been named after him, but there is no record on file of a resolution or anything. It just had become Smith's Bayou and Smith's Bridge. And then the people that had attended that dedication, it was pretty cool because it even reached into elected officials in Muskegon County too. Now for the collaboration piece, I am an instructor at the Ottawa County Career Line Tech Center. Had a student, our student Ethan Doxey is the one that did all the auditory. So he has a recording. If you go onto the city website, you can listen to Ethan's voice. He did a wonderful job with that. And then I connected up with another student, a senior from Jenison, Aiden Palmas, and he's the one that he does coding, and he was able to create the QR code, and he embossed the city logo in the center. So instead of just having like the little Jurassic Park dinosaur that you can usually get on your QR codes, he was able to get the city logo. He worked closely with Mr. Bessinger to be able to get it onto the city website. So there's a historic page that's there that's linked to the QR code. And that QR code is placed at the historical marker. It was a connection that I had with DNR, working with them in the past, and it's a vinyl, and City Hall has a couple extra copies of that same vinyl QR code if it ever needs to be replaced. Then with connection with the Career Line Tech Center, the ISD for Ottawa County has what's called Doing More Together. And this Doing More Together, anybody that's in the industry in Ottawa County to reach and collaborate with a school, whether it be one of the area high schools or elementaries or so, it's just really building that community awareness between industry and the educational setting in Ottawa County. And so Doing More Together did recognize this. There's the link for the article. It was really awesome to showcase the students. Then 2 weeks ago, State Representative Lilly was present at the school and provided the students with state tributes. They were recognized there. They were also recognized with the county commissioners too for their collaboration. And City Council while serving as mayor, we did a proclamation for both of the students, and I presented it to them at their school board meetings. Received that recognition. If you're not sure where it is, it's by the Spring Lake lift station on the corner of 168th and West Spring Lake Road. And then there's just a couple other links that are connected in. Have any questions?
No questions? Okay, thanks for the presentation.
Very good presentation.
7B, discussion, take action if appropriate to adopt ordinance number 320, an ordinance to amend the city code by amending Charter 154 zoning to amend section 2.20 and 3.270B1 to measure waterfront setbacks from the ordinary high water mark and to define the term.
Your Honor, I'm gonna make a motion to adopt the ordinance number 320, an ordinance to amend the city code by amending Charter 154 zoning to amend section 2.20 and 3.270B subsection 1 to measure waterfront setbacks from the ordinary high water mark and to define the term. Support.
Motion support. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. 7C, discussion, take action if appropriate to approve an amendment to the city's personnel manual, section 6.11, Independence Day. Greg?
So with the 4th of July parade getting bigger and bigger every year, we need more volunteers to help man the parade, keep people safe, and close down streets. So the Public Works has really been kind of required to work on 4th of July, even though it's listed as a holiday in the personnel manual. And so what we want to do is still allow the guys to have a day off every now and then, or enjoy the holiday, even if it isn't on the 4th of July. So they're in agreement with this amendment that if they work on the 4th of July, they have the option to get their time and a half for working on a holiday and taking 8 hours holiday pay, or taking a different day off within 10 days before or after, and then getting their holiday pay on that day. Just as a side note, the Public Works Department is pretty much required to work on this to close down streets with barricades and so forth. But again, we can't do this without just the city staff here. We have the fire department working. They volunteer to work that day. They're getting in their straight time for working on the 4th of July. We talked to the fire chief about that, and he indicated that the guys don't do it for money. They enjoy doing it. But again, we couldn't probably do it without the firefighters that help us out on that event.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Craig, are you thinking about doing time and a half for the fire department as well?
I talked to the fire chief about it, and he said not at this time.
I know he always says they don't do it for the money.
I would be open to that. We really need the fire department personnel on this event. They come to the Coast Guard picnic and bring a truck and stuff like that, and they go to the Coast Guard Festival parade and so forth like that, and go up to Dewey Hill. They don't get paid for going in the parades, but when they go up on Dewey Hill for fireworks on Coast Guard Festival week and on the 4th of July, we do pay them for that time. But I'd be open to amending this to include the firefighters to receive time and a half.
Your Honor, I'd be in favor of that for time and a half.
Yes. What do you guys think?
Your Honor, I truly believe we need to, reward our employees for doing a great job. And I definitely think they should be paid time and a half for it. his voluntary ethics, and I applaud that. But at the same time, he needs to think of the younger crew members too. A lot of them have families, and every little bit helps these days, especially with inflation going the way it is. So I think we should strongly consider this. Definitely, I'm all for it.
Okay,
Your Honor,
yes.
would the fire department need its own amendment? Or would that be lumped into this?
It'd be lumped into that. They're
Okay.
underneath the personnel manual as well.
Okay, thank you.
The only difference between the personnel manual for the fire department and the city hall staff or city staff is the nepotism is not included in the fire department employee manual.
Okay,
Well, Your Honor, I move then that we adopt this amendment with the inclusion of fire department personnel. At time and a half, thank you.
okay, motion and support to include the fire department, time and a half. Any further discussion?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. I will be voting on this because this does not just affect me personally, but it does affect the entire department. If that is okay.
You want to include yourself?
No, I
Or
mean, no,
not include yourself.
I would like to just include that since I would benefit from this, but not personal benefit. And this is for the department, not for me personally. I think it's okay for me to vote on this.
Okay. Any other discussion? Yes.
Might be best for Councilmember O'Donnell to abstain on this, because he does get a financial gain if he does work on that day and get the time and a half.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Councilmember O'Donnell abstain. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Moving on. D, discussion and take action if appropriate to schedule a work session as a regular agenda item April 18th. Looks like we had the budget in here. Anything you guys want to add? City budget is what I have on here for the work session.
I've got Your Honor.
Yes.
Question on this. I think it might be, you may want to talk about investments.
Okay.
And if so, have to have the person I contacted at the MML conference come in and do a presentation that night, or have an idea of what the investment would entail.
Okay. And then what, the investments of,
It looks like we do have a line item for the Smith's Bridge where we put money in every year, and that's looking to grow that for the future expenses for the bridge.
okay,
And I think there's one other item in there that we discussed.
okay. Any other topics under the work session? I did have one thing to add. I would like to talk about the e-bikes. I saw in our manager's report, city code prohibits motor vehicle on a bike path. Craig looks like he got information from our attorney. Since an e-bike has a motor, e-bikes are not permitted on city bike paths. So I want to kind of talk about that because I think mainly the intent of that code and ordinance was to exclude like heavier weight motorcycles, mini bikes, ATVs, quad runners, go-karts, mopeds, stuff like that. So I think, you know, the state of Michigan, there's a couple of different classes in e-bikes, but they're still a bicycle, and they really don't weigh a whole lot more than my fat tire bike. So, I mean, I personally was thinking of getting an e-bike too, and I know other residents have e-bikes, so I hate to have them excluded from our bike pass. But I do want to do some more investigation because I want to see what our neighbors are doing, Spring Lake Township, Spring Lake Village, and see what their ordinances say about that. Because the state of Michigan allows a class 1, which means you can have a electronic e-assist pedal assist bike up to 20 miles per hour. But there's also ordinances that you can amend to not include them also. But if we exclude something with a motor, that would also exclude like those little hoverboards for kids, electric scooter for kids, longboard like a skateboard with a little motor on it. You know, do we want to exclude that from the bike path because it has a motor? Probably not, because that's really not the intent. So I just want to talk about it, maybe get some more details. What are your guys' thoughts?
It'd be worth discussing.
Yeah. My wife has an e-bike. We visited all 3 shops in Grand Haven when we were shopping. They all would be more than thrilled to come in and talk about it because Ferrysburg is the only city in the area that doesn't allow e-bikes. Now, granted, it's not all class 3. I think it's just 1 and 2 on the main trails throughout the county. But Ferrysburg has no allowance for any type of motorized vehicle on a bike path.
Right now, yep. Correct. So, okay.
Definitely be in favor of it.
Yeah, it's worth discussing. Okay, anything else for add to the work session?
Your Honor, I just wanted to
Yes.
know, are you planning on maintaining the bridge? There's more potholes than there are road right now. It's pretty bad.
You guys will get it
It's
tomorrow.
kind of dangerous, really.
Yes, sir. We'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah, springtime's pretty bad for potholes, so there's a few around town here that the guys will probably get to, so. Okay. Moving on, number 8, public comments. Any public comments? Tribune back there? No? Okay. Number 9, report, city manager.
No report?
Council members, Debbie. Jerry?
Yeah, a couple things. Couple new exciting things for Harbor Transit this summer. First, we're gonna start beginning, this summer, a new, loop to Panoma Park in Fruitport on the loop that goes around the cities to all the parks with new passengers. So trying to attract some customers from Muskegon County and expand out that way. Another thing that they're trying this summer is they're gonna allow wraps on the bus for advertising. So now, all of our Harbor Transit buses will have business wraps on it. Right now, I think there's still openings, so if you own a business, if you wanna get in the ground floor, it's really affordable. I believe it's only $100 a month. For all that, advertising, pretty good deal. And last but not least, they are looking for part-time help for the summer. If anybody's retired or college kids want, some work for this summer, that's a great opportunity. The pay starts, I think, at $17.10 an hour. So, yeah, it's pretty decent opportunities.
Yeah.
Gary, I have a question regarding drivers. Do they help you get the proper license? A commercial? Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Bill, on this end?
No report.
Rich?
No report.
Tim?
Just a couple things. One thing I left off in my report from the MML conference was I did talk to a gentleman from an engineering firm that's in Grand Rapids. Discuss some of the problems we've had with some of the engineering firms that we've dealt with here, and I would like to make sure that they get some notice when we bid out forms, or because some of the engineering firms say, well, you're too small, we're not going to deal with you. But he said they deal with every size municipality. They also have a great track record with getting grants. And with the, I sent you all hopefully you got it. I forwarded a email that I received from the MML talking about the infrastructure grants that were available from the state of Michigan. And they said that they have studying those as well. I knew that was coming up, so that we might be able to get some grant information as well. Also, discussing with the police chief, or not police chief, fire chief the other night. I'd like to see that we might get involved with the Idema bike trail and see if we can get it rerouted from going down 3rd Street to Ridge Street. Might be some, might be a little easier to, if they came in off of Ridge Street instead of the 3rd Street, as far as crossing paths with the fire department. Other than that, quiet weekend, end of report.
Okay, the MPO Policy Committee is gonna meet in a couple weeks, Wednesday, April 20th, 1:30 Muskegon. Same day as the Economic Development Task Force, 6 p.m. And then, yeah, kind of leading to what Tim said, I read an article, Ottawa County Parks talks about the Grand River Greenway. Public Act 53 of 2022 was signed by Governor Whitmer March 30th, which includes appropriation $55 million downtown Grand Rapids, river-focused parks and trails projects Grand Rapids, Kent County. But the idea is the Greenway is going to connect Kent County to Ottawa County. So the article said Al Vandenberg used to be Ottawa County administrator, is Kent County administrator. He mentioned Peter Secchia's name because Peter Secchia was the campaign co-chair, and he said it was their thoughts and their goal was to get Kent County and Ottawa County connected. And then what that would do is go into the Idema Trail, which would lead to Ottawa Sands, end at Ottawa Sands. And then we're not too far away from Lake Michigan, which would be really cool. So I thought that was a pretty good article. That's my end of report. Motion to adjourn. Meeting's done. Better than 9:01.